Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a squat day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. Be greatly appreciated. Good training max today. Went ahead and built up to 515. Now, a few people have asked me on these training max days, why don't I do 531? Why am I doing singles a lot of times? And it's because I'm doing a little more powerlifter specific template. I'm jumping back into competition this coming year. And for every third week when I hit singles, I want to ramp up and hit 3 singles on my way up, just like I'm going to do in competition. Just like I'm going to do in competition. Now, as you guys can see, I'm pretty much continuing to do high bar squat. And the 515 went pretty good, although this was getting real close to me to actually a current max. Like, I'm not going to lie, these have been training maxes, but feeling this one, I'm definitely well above 90%. I don't know that this week I could have come in and put, another 25 or 30 pounds on there. I don't know that I had that. Not this week. But I may not try to go much heavier until meet time because people have to remember I'm not necessarily worried about breaking records my first meet coming back. I just need to get my feet wet, need to get some qualifiers in, right? That's what I need to do. So I just need to come in and hit a real good solid total, right? That's all I need to do. Maybe break a deadlift record. So what did we do next? I went ahead and I'm doing muscle cleans because I want to. I feel like they'll carry over, they'll help me with my speed strength. They'll help me get more yoked. And, again, I did these instead of messing with front squats today. I felt like with all the other squatting I did today, my quads were kind of fatigued. I may work with some front squats again on deadlift day like we did last week. So today I kept it simple. I just did a 5x5 muscle clean. Did 5x10 back squats, 5x10 deadlift, 5x10 Romanian deadlift, and then 5x10 neck extensions. Yes, that is a lot of volume. Notice it's a few less exercises than I do on my upper body days. Why? Because I'm squatting and deadlifting for a lot of sets. Can't quite work as much supplemental lifts in. I had hoped that I'd be able to front squat an RDL too, but it's like might have overextended that. And I could tell as I dug into the workout, but I could tell I was getting there. It's like, well, for extra quad, I'll do some box jumps later to make sure my quads get plenty of activation. And I actually do box jumps to warm up before I squat or deadlift. But these muscle cleans, these were decently challenging. I know I have to work on it. A lot of people are like, oh, your rack position's terrible. I don't care. This is a good movement to build power. It's a good hypertrophy exercise for me, right? Again, helping build all that yoke up. Just a decent training tool. And it doesn't need to be beautiful. I'm just using it as a nice, good strength and power tool. A little bit of extra hypertrophy work for some of my shoulders and everything, my upper back. Maybe a little bit of quad explosiveness, a little hip extension. Not really a big deal, right? And I'll work on it. I'll keep working on it. They're fun. I like doing them. But I've realized I kind of need to do them when I'm not so fatigued. So I think kind of the best place to work on that, and I agree with what a lot of people say on that probably better to do it after maybe my heavy work. Because I'm not doing these and then hitting a training max. Those training maxes are way too important. So those heavy sets need to come first, but they're very low volume, and I'm not real fatigued after those. So doing these before all my metabolically fatiguing work, not a bad idea. Now, some people are noticing, they're like, hey, your metabolic work's relatively light. Yes, it is, and it's all reps in reserve. So I'm doing 5x10 on all these movements with reps in the tank even on the last set. And that's okay. Why? Sheer volume for hypertrophy. We're still getting quality sets, right? We're still getting quality sets at the very end in terms of true fatigue. We're attenuating upper threshold fibers with the heavy work first. So people need to remember that. Every one of my sessions start with a heavy squat, bench, or deadlift. Okay, we are hitting the upper threshold muscle fibers. We are getting them ready to work also on work sets. Okay, that changes the dynamic versus coming in and doing them fresh. Doing 3x10 fresh versus doing a bunch of 5x10s after heavy work is a completely different beast. So the idea here is I'm practicing movement patterns. I'm practicing things like squatting, benching, deadlifting. All right, we're getting a lot of practice in on my movements. And at the same time, we're using these big exercises to create overall metabolic stress for the purposes of stimulating hypertrophy. And yeah, my volumes are real high right now. So people say, well, you're cutting, should you be doing that? It's fine. It's fine. Again, this comes up over and over and over, and I'm not going to say it. We shouldn't need to say it. First of all, I'm a YouTuber and an influencer. That tells you everything you need to know, right? Number two, I plan on breaking untested records. So that's all that needs to be said. End of discussion. So yes, higher volumes of training when cutting, perfectly fine. Do I necessarily have my clients do that? No. And we're going to have a lot of client vlogs coming up. So many of my clients want to do vlogs now that it blew my mind. As of right now, at this very moment, I have a total of 6 clients who want to do vlogs. One of them's already filmed. It'll be up tomorrow, one of my intermediates. I have 2 advanced lifters, Emma being one of them. 1 intermediate, 3 novices now who have all thrown their hat in the ring. I'll probably have more. Probably have more coming up. Well, we might end up with 7 or 8 clients eventually getting their workouts vlogged every week. It's not like I don't have a lot more than that. You know, and when I say that, people really think that I've had people think I'm exaggerating with the number of clients I have, and I don't know why they think that. I've shown plenty of evidence out there. It's something I've been completely honest about. I've never, ever exaggerated on that. I mean, you know, there have been times when people say, look, you did this or that or whatever. Fine. Many, 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 many years ago. I've actually tried very, very hard in recent years to not exaggerate anything, to try to be honest and not do things in a way, because I come from a different generation where one-upmanship and exaggeration was common. I'm having to learn I can't do that. So I've always been very honest about how many clients I have. Like when I've said at any given time I have 23 or 27 or whatever, I do mean that to the exact number when I say it. During that week at least, you know, because it fluctuates. So, yeah, but I mean, 6 clients want vlogs up, and by the end of the month, I should have 6 different clients where I'm blogging their workouts. I didn't ask any of them this. They all wanted to do it once they started seeing other vlogs coming up, so that's cool. So 5x10 squats, and then we did 5x10 deadlifts. Now, some of it's going to be, well, why didn't you do some front squats? I think the front squats are going to be real useful for what I'm doing right now, but I'm not going to always be able to work on them. It's going to be an issue of how much work I can handle, and I feel like today with the squatting and the deadlifting, you know, my quads and everything were just feeling trashed. And I'm like, let me work more on the posterior. And I wanted to make sure my hamstrings got it. I was a little concerned with if I had stopped with just deadlifts or hamstrings, that they would have got undertrained. And if I had stopped with deadlifts and done front squats next, I feel like I wouldn't have had the recovery to do any hamstring work afterwards, because we are pushing the limit. I am in a small calorie deficit right now. So there are limits. So I decided to do RDLs in place of the front squats. But like I said, I might work them in later. But as far as quads go, what did we get for quads? Well, we did 3 heavy singles on squats and then 5 work sets. And then 5 sets of deadlifts. And people don't seem to realize that quads can hypertrophy from deadlifts alone. And I'm not saying they're the best exercise for quads, but they will grow. Your quads are absolutely used on a conventional deadlift. Now, considering I did all those sets of squats, so my quads are already fatigued going into it, there's a fatigue factor at play by the time we get to the deadlifts. Okay? Power clean's probably stimulated a little bit. or the muscle cleans, whatever we want to call them. They stimulated some quads. So my quads got a lot of work today. They got quite a bit of work. So I decided to, again, continue with, well, what's going to get me yoked? What's going to be orc mode? Well, did some RDLs. Because one of the perks of the RDL that I'm getting right now, it is one of the better adductor exercises. Okay? People are always like quads on squats. Well, adductors actually play a larger role than quads for what people see as a quad weakness. Oftentimes people say that's a quad weakness on a squat. More often than not, it's adductor. But it's really the combination, isn't it? Because they work in unison, right? The quad and the adductor work in unison on a max squat. So the RDL is a nice little lift to throw in there. It still hits a stretch reflex on the hamstring. And it made sure I got 10 work sets of hamstrings today. Because again, deadlifts work hamstrings, but RDLs work them slightly harder. It's still letting me work more low back, work upper back, all that. So by doing these, I got 10 sets for my erectors. I got 10 sets for my hamstrings. Okay. It also made sure that I got those adductors a little harder. I honestly believe the RDL may hit the adductor a little harder than the conventional deadlift. It's up there with the squat. So it was a nice supplemental lift to add in. Plus, think in terms of the yoke. Think in terms of the grip. I did it as a grip exercise. I did mixed grip, no straps. So we did 10 sets of volume pulling without straps, not counting the cleans. It also gives a good view of my leg development, I think, from this position. You can see my quads, hamstrings, calves, all that. Take notes, bodybuilders. This stuff I do will build your legs. But again, all the back got worked also. So really it's a secondary back. This is another reason I'm only doing 5 sets of rows these days on my upper body days, because look how much back work I plan on doing. And my back is jacked, but I want to make sure that upper back keeps getting work too. So stuff like this helps with that. It's helping work those traps, helping work all those rear delts, right? Building that yoke. Which, speaking of which, afterwards we'll finish up with the 5x10 of neck extensions again. Making sure I get 10 sets of those every week. All right, 5 on each of the lower body days. And I could do them on the upper body days too. Part of me has been tempted to. But I feel like they get so much work doing them this way, because I already do all those upright rows. I'm doing all this other stuff. But this, again, making sure my traps got work. My traps got a ton of work today. My grip got a ton of work today. But that'll finish it off. This is how we get yoked, and this is how we build the forearms. We talk about the power look. We can talk about the orc mode look. This stuff will help me get there. And realistically, we know my triceps are probably the smallest muscle of my whole body, but look how much I'm prioritizing them now. They're getting a big priority on my upper days, so I'm not that worried about it, right? They get 20 hard sets a week. But yeah, we finish off with the neck extensions. It doesn't just work the neck. That's the thing. Yes, it's working all of the erectors up through the neck, which is what I want it for. But it also works the upper traps. It works the upper traps real hard, because I need my traps to keep growing. People are like, man, your traps have gotten big when they've now seen me shirtless and stuff. Yeah, but my traps need to get bigger, just like my triceps need to get bigger. And this will help get me there. This has been a pretty long vlog, even though I trimmed everything down. All this volume of lower body work takes a lot of time up. It takes a lot of time. It makes for a pretty long vlog. I'm noticing these are going to possibly be up longer than my upper body workouts in terms of even the trimmed down footage. But I'm happy with today's work. I had wished I had a little more energy to try to do some front squats, but I knew I was too fatigued to pull it off. But maybe we'll work them in Friday again. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.